Can't see me. Okay, so welcome back to
Halftime.
the halftime report of the tournament, the girls' high school basketball tournament. We've been through the quarterfinals. Now we're on to the semis and the finals, so it gets real here. First of all, let's start at the top with Double A. Oxford Hills kind of showed their dominance and got some revenge on Bangor for.
Yeah, and then some.
Yeah, for handing it their only loss. Like, what was impressive about that game to you, Randy? You were there.
Well, number one, the way they came out. I mean, they come out, score the first 11 points, and the game's basically over. And
23-2 end of the first quarter.
Yeah. Defensively, I mean, what they did with Katie Butler was really the kind of the eye-opening thing for me. I knew that they had all kinds of talent, all kinds of depth. I didn't know that they were quite as good at the defensive end as they were. But I mean, they come out with their freshman Julia Colby scoring the first 7 points. She's showing that she's not nervous in her first tournament game. So they just kind of took it from there. That was just absolutely impressive performance. Nate Pelletier talked about, they've really been focusing on every aspect of the game, kind of leaving no stone unturned the last few weeks, and it's paying off. They're all around. That game was as good a game as I've seen any team play in this entire tournament. They were dominant.
Do they have a weakness that you can really think of?
They're
so well-rounded. So well-rounded.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they went out yesterday. Deering in the semifinal before theirs sets a three-point record, and Oxford Hills goes out and ties it. They have the inside offense that they need. The rebounders, they can match up defensively with pretty much everybody. So depth, I mean, they have more depth than, you take their second team and make them the stars for a lot of Double-A teams, and they'd be in the tournament. So they're pretty impressive.
Yeah, and they have a lot of players that can shoot. And Nate Pelletier has kind of talked about how they're even killed a lot, but what they did to Bangor yesterday was not even killed. They just kind of took it out on them, and they really don't have a glaring weakness. They're not very tall, but Jada Adams, she's
but they play big enough. They're not so short that anyone really towers them.
Yeah, Jada Adams is, she can hold down the paint herself. She's good enough. Even though she doesn't have the height like you mentioned. She's skilled enough and strong enough to be able to handle that, to handle the Butlers of the world pretty well.
And facing Deering doesn't have any huge tall people that they're gonna have to worry about. It's more out on.
Yeah, Deering's very much a guard-oriented team. Their guards are tough though. Ramirez and Titherington.
Titherington's the real deal.
Yeah, I saw Ramirez box out Jordan Reynolds for a rebound. Like she was like 6'5" or something. She's probably about 5'2". Their guards are tough. They can shoot, and they're pretty confident. So that's a pretty good matchup. I'm looking forward to.
Okay, yeah, it seems like it. I think.
And that's a regional final.
Yeah.
Everyone, the other games we're talking about were semifinals. So Double-A starts earlier and kind of progresses a little earlier.
And that Deering game could be pretty interesting. I think as good as EL has been this year, last night's game wasn't really a huge surprise because EL they do have a flaw, and that's scoring. And if they don't score, then against a good team,
that can be a big flaw too.
They're gonna have a really hard time. Yeah, they can defend anybody. And Deering, I think Deering beat them by like 14 early in the season. That was kind of before EL got going, but Deering also played Oxford Hills very close. It took a Julia Colby buzzer-beating three-pointer to beat them. So I think these two teams probably kind of on a crash course since the postseason started to face each other in this game. And then I think we'll kind of skip ahead because the one game I'm really excited about. We've talked about how the boys' C tournament's always really good. The girls' C tournament is going to be pretty good this year, and it's played out that way. And it's going to come down to in the semifinal, Monmouth and Booth Bay playing each other, and it's a pretty good clash of styles. They have Booth Bay has two. They have a lot of tall girls, but Paige Brown and Faith Blethen are the main players, and they kind of carry the team. But then the rest of the team kind of backs off because of those two. And then you have Monmouth, who they do have Tia Day, but then all the other players are the same type of players, just like gritty, They can drive, they can shoot. It's good, and they're deep. They're deep. They play like 10 players. They'll put like 9 players on the court just in the first quarter. So it's going to be a pretty good matchup, I think. There, it's going to be fun. It's too bad this isn't going to be the regional final. It's just a semifinal. Yeah, I can't imagine like a more exciting game.
And two MVC rivals that know each other. Unlike some of those other games we talked about, teams that aren't in the same conference. These two teams know each other well.
Yeah.
I'll ask you, how do you think Monmouth matches? What is their priority? Do they want to stop Blethen first, or do they want to stop Brown first?
I think you almost have to stop Brown first because she is the more aggressive one as far as scoring goes, and she also was in the post. I think with the way Faith Blethen plays, she's more on the outside, and she can shoot the three there too. But I think you kind of have to stop them down in the post. But then against Mount Abram, Blethen was a lot more aggressive, especially early in the game. And that's going to be tough if they can get that. If they can be driving, it's going to be hard. And Monmouth starts a smaller lineup. They have some post players, but they come off the bench, and so it's kind of if they start hitting their shots early, that's a good thing. But if not, then they're going to have to probably put their post players in and use up some fouls. They have at least 3 5'10" girls who can do that. So yeah, I think the key for Monmouth is going to be them making their shots, their 3-pointers especially, because that's going to be their strong suit. Anything else about that game? Okay, so let's go back. Sorry, I had to jump ahead to that one. Let's do Rangeley. I know Rangeley. It seems like Rangeley's big game is going to be what comes after this. They do have to get past Forest Hills, but I think Vinyl Haven's the one that it's going to come down to them in Vinyl Haven too for that.
Yeah, and I don't think anybody has to worry about Rangeley overlooking Forest Hills. Yeah. I mean, they've been here before. They've been heavy favorites before. They kind of know what the deal is. You have to take care of business first, and they've had games in the past where they've come out 26-5, and they've had games in the past where it's taken them a little while to get into it. But I don't think you have to worry about them looking ahead at all. I think they'll be ready for that one. I think they'll.
Yeah. And I think they do know that they are not the team last year.
Yeah.
Like they're very aware of that, so they have to prove their own mettle in these games. So I don't think that's going to be a problem as far as overlooking them. Okay, so let's go back to the B tournament, which is going to be pretty good too. Poland, they beat Wells yesterday. Were you surprised by that?
The games that I saw Poland play, yes, I mean I know Poland has talent, but there was games where the talent didn't always show. Yeah. But yesterday against a very good Wells team, Natalie Theriault kind of showed out more than I've seen her do this year. Every time I saw them and she didn't, it's like, okay, why isn't she breaking out the way she's supposed to? But she had a really good game against Wells, and they got ahead of Wells. And if Poland can be in the lead in the game, they're a lot more comfortable. They're still a fairly young team. When things get ahead of them, that's when things can start to break down. If they can kind of control the pace of the game, that's where they can be more comfortable. And Wells is a much more experienced team, so that is kind of a surprise there. That young team was able to do better than that experienced team in that setting.
Yeah, but Poland they are mostly juniors, but they've been here before. They haven't really had success.
And they hadn't really got past this level, so for them to get that quarterfinal win and now go to semifinals is huge for that program, especially where they only graduate one player this year.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it seems like a lot of their top players coming back. So this could be, how they're going to do against Lincoln. Lincoln did very well, too, against a good Mountain Valley team.
Yeah, and Lincoln's, was in the regional final last year and lost to Greater Gloucester and brought back most of those players. And Lincoln Academy, I believe, plays KVAC schedule, which some tough teams they play. So Poland's have a lot to deal with, a lot against them, against a Lincoln Academy team with talent and experience. Okay,
and Gray, I think no surprise the way they played yesterday and what they did. They've kind of done that to be South the entire year.
Yeah, they wear teams out. They grind teams out. It doesn't always look pretty on offense, but you look at the scoreboard at the end, and they score 57 points. But all 5 players on the court at one time, play really good defense, and they wear you out. And they have Sky Conley inside, who's so tough to stop, and everyone else can start shooting threes. They're not very deep. They go 6, maybe 7 deep, but their starting 5 is is experienced, and they're really good.
Yeah, they know. They're starting five more than maybe any starting five in girls basketball I've seen this year. They know exactly what they're doing. Like they know their roles. They know how to win the games. Even against Greeley, when they played them tight for a quarter and then for a half, and then they got blown out. They still they knew what they were doing. They were never flustered or anything like that. And it's kind of a slower pace, kind of deliberate, but they really get the job done. And you don't know if it's going to be. Sometimes it's like Grace Cariotis is the one. Sometimes Alicia Dumont. They always go to Sky Conley first. Sometimes she's making a shot. Sometimes she's not. Bree Jordan, whether she's whether she does kind of everything for them. How that's working out. Jordan Grant off the bench, she can come in and just like I've seen her a couple games just come off the bench, score like one time she scored 11 quick points against Greeley, 5 straight against Poland, and that turned everything around. And I know I'm forgetting one starter. Am I?
I think you got him.
Izzy Detroit.
Detroit,
She's
who on Tuesday kind of was their offense early on.
Yeah.
She's sometimes a forgotten scorer for
Yeah.
them, but she can score. And it's funny because Coach Andresen calls her kind of the number 4, the power forward. But really, it's Bree as a point guard, Sky as a center, and the other 3 are kind of all 2 through 4 somewhere. But they all have roles, but all their roles are kind of, they can all do multiple roles.
Yeah. And what's funny about Bree Jordan being the point guard is that she's also the tallest player on the team, and she's the one who does the jump. I don't know if she's taller than Jordan Grant, but yeah, Detroit. It seems like that's when I've seen her play. She scores most of the points early in the game. She kind of gets the offense going in the games that I've seen, and so it seems like Gray is still like by far and away the favorite to come out of that.
I mean, they are the favorite, but it's not going to be an easy game over Lake Region. Those 2 teams played in last year's regional semifinals and went to overtime. Lake Region has most of those players back. They got some really good guards. And the biggest thing with Gray is where they don't have a great amount of depth. They can't get into terrible foul trouble. So that'll be a tough test for them as well.
Okay.
But it should be an entertaining game at the Cross Insurance Arena.
Okay.
Yeah, and like we talked about with the boys, I mean, there's some adjustment there going from the Expo to Cross Insurance. Can you see either of the local teams being affected by that, or
Poland maybe, where they haven't been there. Grand New Gloucester shouldn't. They have been there.
Yeah.
And it might take a little bit for their shooters to get reacquainted with that depth perception. But I don't think Sky Conley down low is going to have necessarily a problem getting those layups. But that'll be interesting because it's my alma mater versus your alma mater in that one.
Oh, really? Oh, okay.
Yeah. No bets. We're not.
No.
The thing with Gray is that they can shoot the 3-pointer, but they're not necessarily reliant on the.
Yeah, they're not married to it. Yeah.
Like they can shoot it very well out there, but they still are. Like I said, just they know what they're doing.
And really, they shoot the 3-pointer because everyone plays a zone against them.
Yeah.
Even Freeport the other day, Coach Andresen said Freeport has never run a zone, and they come out in zone against Grand Gloucester. So, Grand Gloucester would like to drive the lane and find something there, but if everyone's gonna play zone against them, they got to figure out a way to beat that zone.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll see what happens.
Check our stuff on sunjournal.com. It's all free.
And check out anything. Hashtag Tourney17.
www.sunjournal.com/Tourney17. It's all free. Thanks for joining us.